The News Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. NBN ZTE deal whistleblower Jun Lozada surrenders to the NBI after the Sandigan Bayan released a warrant of arrest for graft charges filed against him. Lozada's brother Orlando also turned himself into the authorities as the warrant of arrest is issued following the Supreme Court's decision affirming their conviction over a land deal involving the state-owned Philippine Forest Corporation. The graft charges filed against the Lozada brothers came 4 years after Jun testified on the controversial NBN ZTE deal, tagging then-President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo and her husband as the masterminds. In July of last year, the Supreme Court denied the brothers' petition to review the Sandigan Bayan's decision, sentencing them to up to 10 years of imprisonment and perpetual disqualification from public office. Despite their arrest, Jun Lozada says he does not regret siding with the truth, and he and his brother are currently detained at the NBI headquarters in Manila. One health expert says it may be time to lift the state of emergency caused by the spread of COVID-19. One presidential advisor agrees, adding that it's time to start face-to-face classes once again. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro with the details.
More than 2 years since the country was put on lockdown because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and infectious diseases experts say it's time to lift the state of emergency in the country.
If you compare 2020, 2021, and 2022, napakalaking difference na. Ang mga kaso natin ngayon has been stabilized to less than 200, no?
Lifting the state of emergency would mean further loosening up of travel and capacity restrictions. In addition, this would also mean COVID vaccines would then be available commercially for those who want or need. Presidential advisor for entrepreneur Joey Concepcion points out that the country has already gone back to pre-pandemic times.
By declaring that the Philippines is not in a health state of emergency, gives greater confidence that we have succeeded as a nation to really control this virus.
Concepcion also urges the resumption of face-to-face classes, as this will help revive small businesses. But both Solante and Concepcion agree that health protocols should continue. Face masks could still be mandatory indoors, but optional for outdoors. There's been an uptick of COVID cases in the past month, although daily average remains less than 200, and hospitalization remains at a safe level. Because of this, Solante is confident that the wall of immunity will hold.
Siguro, we have to treat this as something na endemic in a way na maluwagan na natin in terms of yung economic activities.
Vaccine and booster rollout have been sluggish lately, and there are concerns over waning vaccine immunity. That is why Solante and Concepcion urges the public to still get the jab, even after we emerge from the COVID emergency. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro, we are One News.
The PBA will revert to a 3-conference season this year with the easing of COVID-19 restrictions. Marty Bautista has the details.
PBA teams mingled with media at the press conference before the start of the 47th season at Novotel in Quezon City. As COVID-19 restrictions are slowly loosened up, the league eyes to complete all 3 conferences. The PBA has been under a bubble setup since 2020. Commissioner Willie Marshall says the biggest challenge to this plan would be a surge.
Biggest fear na tumaas ang alert level natin. Pero so nakikita sa ginagawa ng mga kababayan natin na nag-iingat, may vaccination, palagay ko maganda matatapos natin itong season na to.
The opening day on June 5 features new PBA team Converge Fiber Xers against Rain or Shine Elasto Painters at 4:30 p.m. This will be followed by a rematch of the past Philippine Cup finals between TNT Tropang Giga and the Magnolia Hotshots at 6:30. Magnolia will try to get back at TNT, who won in 5 games last conference. For Hotshots forward Calvin Abueva, their preparations are focused on building team chemistry.
Always na nire-remind sa amin ni coach na yung chemistry na lagi namin ginagawa, kaya umabot kami ng finals and then semis nung last. And then ngayon, kailangan namin i-focus yung chemistry kasi sa chemistry doon kami nakaka-abante sa opensa at depensa.
Meanwhile, Gilas pool mainstay JD Tongkab is ready to make a difference for the Tropang Giga.
Talagang focus ako kung ano yung may tutulong ko sa team. Dahil talaga, yung sinasabi ko nga, sa defense talaga, yun doon nila ako pinakakailangan. Lalo na sa height ko.
The opening ceremony will also feature the Season 46 Leo Awards. Northport's Robert Bolick, Mikey Williams from TNT, Abueva, and Jin King Scotty Thompson are in the running for the PBA MVP award. Bolick currently leads the race in stats as the second-best scorer and highest assist man in Season 46. But for him, the only hardware that matters is a championship.
Gusto ko lang talaga mag-semis at mag-championship. Yun kasi napag-championan ko na lahat eh. Sa college, lahat ng liga napag-champion ko na. So ito talaga yung gusto ko makatikim naman ako ng championship sa PBA. I think masayang-masaya na ako doon.
For News 5, Marty Bautista, We Are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The CA bypassed the last-minute appointments of 3 former COMELEC officials on Wednesday. This has left the poll body with no acting chairman and no spokesperson. Greg Gregorio with the details.
From 7 members, only 4 are left at the unbank of the Commission on Elections. This after the ad interim appointments of former Chairman Saidamen Pangarungan, former COMELEC Commissioner Amy Neri, and former Commissioner George Garcia have been bypassed by the Commission on Appointments on Wednesday. Prior to the last-minute appointment of these 3 officials in March, most senior Commissioner Socorro Inting has already been named acting chairman. However, her office notes that she cannot automatically claim the post. According to Inting's office, there's still no official notice or designation from the unbank, as the supposed unbank session on Wednesday was also cancelled due to lack of quorum. But does the number of unbank members still matter now that the 2022 national local elections are over? Former COMELEC Commissioner Louis Guia said it does, as there's still a lot of work to do even after the conduct of polls.
Itong mga panahong ito, ang mabigat na trabaho talaga yung pag-resolve ng yung mga naiwang disqualification cases, yung mga cancellation cases, yung mga failure of election, yung mga annulment of proclamation cases, yan yung marami after election. At doon mo kailangan yung mas maraming commissioners na tulong-tulong.
Among the things that the unbank has yet to resolve is the motion for reconsideration on a disqualification case that was filed against President-elect Bongbong Marcos. There is also pending action on whether a special elections in Shanghai, China will now be held after the recent lifting of COVID-19 lockdown in the area. Guia said it would be better if cases will be resolved before the proclaimed candidates in the last elections start their term of office on June 30.
It might be legal na pwedeng mangyari yon, pero masyado siyang disruptive at medyo controversial pag nakaupo na. Ang problema lang dyan kasi yung time it takes to analyze the cases. So, ang logical lang yan. Kung between 7 and 4, mas mabilis kung 7 kasi mas maraming tao ang involved.
Aside from not having a chairman, the COMELEC also doesn't have a spokesperson at the moment. Former and longtime spokesperson James Jimenez was earlier relieved from his responsibilities as spokesperson and ordered to focus on other responsibilities as head of the COMELEC Education and Information Department. He was replaced by Attorney Rex Laujanco from the COMELEC Law Department, who was appointed by former Chairman Pangarungan and was ordered to directly report to then Commissioner George Garcia. But with these two no longer in office, Laujanco said his appointment is also considered as functus officio or expired. He says it is now the prerogative of the unbank to designate the next spokesperson. For former Commissioner Louis Guia, the spokesperson post is crucial, as a poll body should be able to effectively communicate with the public.
It's part of COMELEC's job to communicate and to explain what it is doing, because it's not just running according to it an accurate election. It's also telling the people that your election is accurate, explaining the problems that comes with it, that were experienced, and that's part of the job. So if you will ask me, I mean, communication should be continuing.
The next regular unbank session is set on Wednesday, unless an earlier special session will be called for to immediately address the situation. On Wednesday evening, former Chairman Pangarungan has also bid farewell from the COMELEC. He admitted that he was saddened by the bypass of his ad interim appointment, but that he still respects the CA's decision. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 11 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.